track and field fans. I am here with Anderson and the Kendall Ellis. Give her a round of applause, Anderson. Yes.
Of course.
If y'all don't know who she is an Olympic champion, but now she can add U.S. champion to her lovely resume. She's had a couple of collegiate records. She's a national champion for the NCAA. Now she's a national champion for the U.S. She's about to make her way to the Olympics and whoop some butt. Are you ready, Kendall?
I'm ready with an intro like that.
Okay, let's go. Hold on. Actually, your flight is right now. We got the plane out front, so we're going to see y'all later. We're going to tap back in.
Nice. Well, Kendall coming off the national title, not only a national title, but personal best, back-to-back rounds. I mean, how did you make that happen?
Ooh, I keep saying it, just pure belief. Like, I kept telling myself in the blast, it's like, why not me? Why not me? Someone has to win. Why not me today? So just really gunning for it. Like, I've seen what I've seen in practice. My coach has seen things, and we were like, you know, you're on track for it. So it's just up to you to go out and do it.
Yeah.
But that was 6 years in the making, though. So, I mean, that took a lot of patience and, like, dedication. Yeah. Obviously, you've had some success in between. It's not like, okay, you were sitting around at home being a bum. Like, obviously,
Kendall's kind of been cooking for years.
According to this World Athletics profile, you've been cooking for a hot minute. Since you stepped out of school, you've been cooking.
Yeah.
So it's not like you were sitting around and not, you know, really having, like, some substance to your name. But obviously, like, one of the main things that you were chasing was to be able to continue to better yourself and continue to improve yourself. And it took 6 years to get there. So, like, what was keeping you motivated from just being like, you know what, screw all this. Like, it's just not going to happen. Or, you know, maybe still staying in the sport, but, like, kind of just giving up on the dream of, like, running a faster time.
Yeah, I think, like you said, just having those successes within the 6 years. You know, I made the world team. I made the Olympic team. I made another world team. So I had those things to keep me going. Like, okay, maybe I don't need to PR in order to still accomplish these other goals. At the end of the day, I want to make team. PR is cool, but if I'm PRing and I'm not making no teams, then
the money ain't coming in, Bookie.
Right.
Money not coming.
So, yeah, things like that. Just those other goals really kept me afloat in the back of my head. I was always like, a PR would be nice, though. Like, it has been a little minute, so it would be nice. But, yeah, just, I don't know, just focusing on those things that, like, there's still wins within this waiting period.
Yeah. How have you kept, like, resilient? Because on paper, right, you haven't, I don't even think you broke 51 seconds this year.
I didn't.
Right?
And speaking of that, like, it was people on social media that were trying to cook you because they was like, I can't believe Kendall's only running 52 seconds indoors. Like, the state of the women's 400 is garbage. And you just like, girl, calm down.
Yeah, like,
she's
relax.
blocked now.
Relax.
First of all.
Right? But, I mean, how is it that you're able to, like, you know, you see all these other people dropping 49s or 48s, but you're like, nah, like, I got this. I'm going to come here and I'm actually going to not only make the team, but you won't win.
Yeah. Truly just minding my business. Like, honestly,
I like that.
Minding mine. Like, what everyone else has going on has nothing to do with me. I deleted Twitter. Like, nice. I just don't. That's none of my concern. No one knows what I'm doing at practice beyond my training partners and my coach. They don't.
So I can get the workout plan? Dang.
I have to talk to Coach Watts on that one.
That's what I was going to ask you for the next question. No, I'm stop playing.
Yeah, just really minding my own. Like, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, what anyone else sees or doesn't see. It's me when I step onto that track. It's no one else. It's strictly me in that lane 8, but strictly just me. So focusing on that.
I got a question to that, though, because something that a lot of, you know, like coaches and, like, obviously, like, other athletes will say is, like, you got to be a student of the sport. Yeah. But obviously, like what you said, like, you found it's best for you to really just mind your business, focus on yourself. You know, you see your teammates in practice, but, like, outside of them, like, you're not super focused on, like, what other people are doing. But like I said, like, coaches are like, well, no, you need to pay attention to who's number one in the world. You need to see how your competition's running. Like, you need to know, like, what their strengths and their weaknesses are. So, like, how do you balance, like, being a student of the sport by, like, literally staying in your own lane and not worrying about anybody else?
Yeah, I have a great coach, Quincy Watts, and he's known me for 10 plus years at this point. So we have a very long relationship, a great relationship, and he knows the kind of athlete I am. And so he operates, you know, differently with Mike and Rye than he does with me. He knows us personally. So for him, you know, we go out, he's like, do you know your lane? I'm like, no. He's like, me neither. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to find out when we get to the track.
Nice.
And from there, it's kind of like looking at it, and he'll tell me if there's something I need to see. He'll look at it and be like, okay, so-and-so's in your heat. How does she normally run? And I'm like, oh, like, she likes to get out hard. And he's like, okay, well, then we build a plan off of that. But ultimately, it's just people are going to do what they do, and you can study them as much as you want. Like, I'm sure people didn't expect me to go out in 23.6, but I did. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you can only study so much, and it's having that balance between coach and athlete of knowing, like, okay, he's got my back. I'm going to do my job. He's going to do his.
So it's kind of like letting the coach take control as opposed to like you trying to find stuff yourself.
Yeah, I have a good coach. So, hey, that's part of the job.
Nice. So let's backtrack to this semifinal round. I know we spoke about it in the mix zone, but we gotta tell like the fans like what was going on in the background. An hour before the race, you're stuck somewhere. Like, what? Can you tell us the story?
My trauma? That's now a clickbait headline.
Yes.
My trauma.
Yes. We're feeding off of
something worked. Something worked. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm about to go warm up, and I'm like, let me go to the bathroom really quick. And they have like these nicest porta potties out here, and so I go into the porta potty and do my business, and then I'm trying to unlock it, and I'm like, it's a little funny, it like won't unlock. And I was like, okay, like it's okay, just try it again. And I'm continuing to try, and then I start sweating because it's a 4x4 box, and I'm like, it's not like the lock's not clicking, the lock's not going, and I'm just looking around for another exit, even though I know good and well there's one entry and one exit. I'm sweating, I start tearing up, and I'm like, okay, I was like, you still have to race, so you can't get your emotions too high, like all your adrenaline's gonna go. I'm like, you have to calm down. And I'm really just sitting there sending a prayer. My Apple Watch not connected to my phone, so I can't text or call no one. And I'm like, all right, bang, just start banging. I'm pounding on the door. There's only a slit at the end. I'm like, help me. And thankfully a worker comes over and he's like, hello? I said, I'm locked inside the other porta potty. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, like, the lock is not going.
Like, do you hear me screaming?
Like, I've been in here for 5 minutes at this point trying to calm myself down. I'm like, it's not working. He's okay, I'm gonna get help. I said, don't leave me. I said, please don't leave me. And he's like, I'm not, like, okay, like, he said, he's banging from the outside. I'm still banging. We're still jiggling. And then finally, he, like, knocks it hard enough, and I knock it hard enough at the same time that the latch jimmies, and I'm out. And I was like, he's like, do you have to run? I said, I have to go run the 400. And he's okay, like, take a deep breath, like, you're out, you're okay, you're out. And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm okay. So, I mean, it worked. It got all my nerves out. It got the adrenaline
Do you remember
going.
the guy's name?
No, but shout out to you, kind sir, because thank you for saving the day. Thank you for helping me get my title.
New Balance used to give him like a pair of shoes or
Listen.
something, because like if it wasn't for him, baby.
I'm here. We got to bring porta potties to Paris.
Listen,
is that what's gonna happen?
Coach Watt said he needed to lock me in there for 15 minutes for finals. He's like, that's what it takes. He's like, that's
He's trying to get you to run 48.
Listen,
hello, shoot, 48, babe. You're gonna be on that podium. So look,
absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So you get to set a personal best in the semis, get to the final, but even before the final, you were in lane 8. And you were in lane 8. How does that happen? Because you were one of the top qualifiers going into the final. How did you end up in lane 8?
CITIUS, you tell me. How did I end up in lane 8? I don't know. A little weird. A little odd. But like I said, I like to mind my business. So out in lane 8, minding my own. Get out. If I don't see nobody, I'm good. I'm in good standing. But
there you go.
Yeah, let's find that out.
No, but like you're a very tall individual too, because I remember when I was at D3 Nationals my junior year, I'm sitting here looking at Coach Porta. I'm like, girl, they got me in lane 9, lane 8, one of these lanes. I said, no, like we gotta figure something out. And she's like, girl, you're literally 5'10". Like you need to be on the outside.
It's good for the
line.
tall girls.
I said, girl, I don't care. You gonna have me running for my life. Everybody trying to make the finals. Like fix it now. And she's like, it's nothing that we can do. And then crazy thing is, end up making the final.
Look at that.
I got stuck right back in lane 8. I said, you know what?
It was preparation.
I just feel as though that they got it out for the tall girls, and I understand that it's better for us to be out there, but mentally, that is a game I do not like to play.
It's certainly a game. But, I've had, like, weird lanes all season, so I was prepping for that, and I had a great lane in the first round and the second round, so, hey, it's all good.
And what's the preparation like for an Olympic trials? You've been here before, last time when you got 4th place, and like we saying, the season wasn't as great. But I feel like I remember talking to you in Atlanta, and you were like, yo, I'm coming. Like, I could do this. So how is it that you mentally prepare to come here for the biggest stage, right? Come in to make an Olympic team?
I think, I don't want to say downplaying it, because it is an important meet, and I understand what's at stake, but kind of just taking it like another meet in the sense of the way I was preparing for it. Like, I didn't change my routines. I didn't come out and, like, do something wild or that I wasn't used to. It was like, I go so far as to, like, pack the same skincare that I use at home. Because I'm like, it's just another day. Like, I bring my same bonnet, my same silk pillowcase that I have at home. Like, we're making it like another day waking up in Los Angeles. And so I think kind of keeping that level-headed and calmness and not getting too amped up about, like, oh my gosh, this is the Olympic trials. It's 400 meters. It's a track I ran on. It's a track I know, and just elevating along with it. So that respect of knowing this is Olympic trial is a big deal, but also like it's track and field. It's another track that you're running on again at another meet.
I think what's interesting about like the 400, I feel like, there's been a lot of people like running a lot of fast times, right? And so like sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, dang, like are people like gonna have to run 48 to make this team? Like are they gonna have to run like 49-1? I mean, like when you look at Kaylin Brown, like girl, you freshly 19 years old, was running 53 last year, equaled the collegiate record that was from last year, but your teammate beat it in the same heat. Like it's just a lot like so going on.
Yes.
And I know you said like you stay in your own lane, but like if you did catch wind of like how fast people were running, like how did you not let that stop you from being like, no, like let's just go out there and compete? Like I'm not really trying to chase the time. I'm trying to chase like getting to the line first.
Yeah. I definitely caught wind of it. It was hard not to. They were rolling, and I was here for nationals, so I got to really see it. But
it's like, oh, I got to do that.
Yeah,
nice.
I said, oh, okay. I was like, cool. It'll click when it needs to click. Really, just keeping that hope alive of like telling myself over and over again, it's gonna happen when it needs to happen. Like God made me who I am, and when it's supposed to be, that's when it's gonna be. No earlier, no later. So kind of just resting in that, like. If it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. Like I said, I know who I am finally, and I've seen what I've seen at practice. And my coach and my training partners, Mike and Rye, have been constantly filling me with like after workouts are like, that was a 49 workout. Like then, and like, do you see that? And like all you have to do is go and do it. It's quite literally already there. You just have to be the one to do it. So really resting in that confidence, like that quiet assuredness of like. Yeah, they're like that, but I'm like that too. Like me too. I'm in there with them. I am one of the big dogs. I'm not looking out like, oh man, like I wish I could do that. Like I'm gonna go do that too.
Yeah, you've done it. And 49.46.
Yeah.
That's one of the fastest times run at Olympic trials. You're talking about like Sonia Richards-Ross has run a little faster. I don't even think Allison Felix has run as fast at Olympic trials. Like you're one of the greats out here.
Listen, Kendall been on one. That's all I'm saying.
So are there some of those people that you looked up to when you were like growing up, or like some of the other 400 meter runners through history that you've looked up to?
Yeah, definitely Sonia Richards. That was like one of the first people who like, I'm not someone who's been watching track since forever. I've been running since I was 7, but I don't think the first Olympics I watched was 2016. And that's because I had a friend in it.
Oh, wow.
My parents were like, come. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going back upstairs. Girl, what's going on? So, but yeah, Sonia Richards was probably the first athlete that I was like, oh, wow. Like, that's so cool. We went to the same high school. Grew up in like the same Pembroke Pines, Florida area. And I just remember being like, wow, I'm literally like following in her footsteps, and this is so cool, and getting to meet her and have conversations. I was like, incredible. So it's nice to be in great company and be a part of that. I didn't know, but
yeah, you're one of the fast. Don't downplay yourself. So yeah. And you spoke about Michael Norman, Rye Benjamin, all them. Like Michael Norman obviously ran after you. He made the team. What was the reaction for you once he got on the team?
Excited, but knowing Michael's gonna be who Michael is, and he was always gonna do that. I never had any doubts about Michael making the team. So it was just like, I think for us in that trainer group, this is a stepping stone. Yeah. And we're happy, we celebrate the accomplishment. Great that we're there, but work is not finished. Like now this is simply a stepping stone to the bigger things, and 49.4 is great. I'm excited about it. I'm glad to have the win. I'm certainly grateful for that and soaking it all in, but we have to go do something in Paris now. So that's the next step.
So no celebration. You're not. Let's say that.
What you wanted to go to the Wild Dust tonight or something? Come on now.
Well, all right. So
I had a cheeseburger.
Girl.
Just a cheeseburger. We gotta order her something right now. So, all right. So we saw Fred make the team.
Yeah.
You made the team. Michael made the team. We got Isaiah Jewett. He's potentially up there. Rye Benjamin is looking good.
Yeah.
What happens if all of y'all make the team? Like, y'all have to
Wait,
go.
so then we got to figure out which coach is like the most like in their training group.
I mean,
right now,
Quincy's
Dennis got a lot of people.
Quincy's looking good right now.
Hold on, we're gonna have to have a tally up by the end of the week, man.
Southern California is looking crazy right now. So,
it is.
I mean, what would the celebration be like if all of y'all went back to LA? All with titles,
They're
all with
going
like
to the Wild Dust.
Like
Can't disclose.
What does that mean, ma'am?
Everyone's entitled to their privacy.
No, I think that means something a little different.
She's being nice.
But no,
Work's not done. No, we about to
get
crazy.
I think it's up in Paris. It's up in Paris. I'll say that much.
We go to the club.
Yeah.
The
The Parisian streets. Afterwards.
This is what happens when you make an Olympic team. It gets crazy.
So, like, you know, I know this probably is going to be a little while for you because, you know, you're really on your road now. So I don't expect you to be leaving us. You better not leave us.
Of course not.
In like the next couple years, okay? You got some time. But whenever you do decide that you want to transition out of being one of the fastest American women to ever do it, like, what else do you want people to like know you for? Because like I've talked to Bryce Dedman about it, and when he was talking about, you know, him being at Texas A&M, he was like, y'all, I had a whole job lined up before I signed with Nike because I didn't even think that like me going to the Olympics and like me doing all this stuff was gonna happen. But he was like, well, since it happened, I might as well be on a roll with it. And obviously, like, he's been with Nike ever since. But he was like, when he had made, you know, came to peace with the fact that he might not, you know, be a pro like after he finished, he was like, well, I want people to know me for more than like just being a track athlete. Like when somebody like reads my eulogy, I want it to be like, yeah, Olympic champion, but like XYZ, ABC, whatever the case is. So like, what do you want people to like know about you, or like what do you want to have yourself invested in like after you've transitioned out of track?
Yeah, I say mentorship has been huge for me. Like growing up in the sport, I always wanted a mentor and just someone to ask questions and like figure out the process and all that kind of stuff. And thankfully I found that like now years later, but I definitely want to be known as someone who people, if they message or DM, they get a response. It might take a while, it might take a few days, but like I want you to know that like, oh, I messaged Kendall Ellis and she gave me this great advice on like this and that. I don't ever want to be too big or like too high and mighty to think that you can't come talk to me and ask me questions and I respond back and I have a full conversation with you. That's something I take pride in. I think I do a pretty decent job of communicating with people at meets. I'll try to stop and chat with them, or like parents and all that. So just someone who was passing on what they knew about the sport and everything that they've learned and being honest with you about it. So that's what I want to do. I think still have a role in the sport, still be around it, but not the one running, child. Like,
speaking of like being honest, like what's some of like the difficulties that like you've had to go through? Because I feel like one thing that like I've been like noticing is when professional athletes say like track is hard, I feel like they're not necessarily talking about the workouts. I feel like you guys can, obviously, like, you're never going to get used to, like, if your coach is like, yeah, we got, like, 10 400s today, but, like, at least, like, in your brain, you can kind of, like, conceptualize it, go along with it. You're like, okay, I know and I can deal with the fact that, like, I'm going to be in pain, like, almost every day for, like, 11 months out the year. Okay, fine. But I feel like they start to talk about a whole bunch of, like, other things behind closed doors, whether it's, like, something dealing with contracts. I mean, I know we was talking about, like, health insurance and stuff downstairs. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens that can like make it very stressful for somebody to want to continue to be an athlete. So either for you or like from what you've observed, like what are some things that make it difficult to like continue to be a track athlete outside of like getting through workouts?
Right. You know, this is a conversation that goes around all the time, but like what is the definition of a professional track and field athlete? We don't have a distinction between amateur and pro. It's you graduate college, you no longer have eligibility, and now you're in the professional ranks. So figuring out that definition, figuring out how to get an agent, which agent wants to work with you, getting into meets. It's not always just based on how fast the time is. Of course, there are politics that go into things. It's getting a sponsor. Initially, when I came out of school, you know, coming out NCAA record holder, indoor American champ, it took me 6-7 months to sign a deal. And it's just like things like that aren't, I don't want to say they aren't discussed because they are. I just think people aren't listening, and it's not coming from the athletes that you typically hear from. So you don't know what you don't hear. But things like that, trying to find competitions, trying to get prize money earlier than 3 months after the meet. Just there are so many other difficulties in this sport, and it's not just, there are so many things that it takes to get to your favorite athletes for them to get to the line, whether that's physical, financial, mentally, emotionally, just there's so much that it takes to get there, and it's not purely just running.
Why don't you think that a lot of athletes, because it's true, it's like there's so many athletes who are quote unquote professional that make up the majority of the sport, but they're making probably less than the average person who works a regular job, right? But why isn't it that that's a larger conversation, or more people in track and field speak up? Like, are athletes nervous? Do they feel like, oh, if I say this, maybe a sponsor won't, want to come with me or something like that? Or I don't know what.
I think it's exactly that. I think it's just the nerves surrounding it. It's like, contracts, the way they're written, things that are said in there, certain stipulations. And so it's a nerve-wracking conversation to have, but it's an important one that we have to have in order to move things forward. It's never going to get better if we don't discuss it, if we don't talk about it, if we don't try to shed light on it. So I think there are ways to do that, with protecting yourself, of course. At the end of the day, you are a brand, you are representing a brand as well. But to get the sport better, we gotta have uncomfortable conversations. Like nothing gets settled without talking about it.
And I feel like there have definitely been, I guess, a couple more conversations over the past year or two. But I think something that I've noticed is that the conversations will be had, and then it'll kind of die down in between the next bigger conversation. Yeah. Let's say you, Kendall, today you're let's make a big fuss about this on Twitter. Cool. Everybody's chatting about it for a week. Then maybe 6 or 7 months later, now Anderson, now you're saying something. It's we got this whole rah-rah, but then nothing ever comes from it. And so I don't know if it's athletes behind closed doors are taking this information and doing what they can to fix the system, and they're not really saying anything about it, or if it's genuinely we talk about it, but we're not really with the action. So I mean, I know this is a kind of a loaded question, but what do you feel we can do, or what do you feel athletes can do to kind of keep the conversation going in between those big moments?
Yeah, it's hard, and I'm guilty of it myself, because I have these discussions with friends and in private and now with y'all, but it's we need, I don't want to say we need an old head. I am an old head, kind of.
You're not an old head.
We need somebody who's been in it for a minute.
We need somebody who really knows the ins and outs, and I just kind of a leader. But it's we all have these ideas, and we all have these. I think we're all on the same page. But like you said, because there is no definition of a professional track athlete, it's who do we include in these conversations? Is it every single person who's stepping out on the track? Is it the people who made the team? Is it the people who are at trials? Is it people who are still in college?
Which is so strange.
It's a lot.
Because with track and field, it's one of those sports where it's just it's all purely who's faster. Even continue to talk about Dylan Beard again. He literally won Melrose Games. Let's say he became a world champion or Olympic champion or something like that, and still didn't have a contract. Are y'all would you still not count him as a professional athlete? But it's he's literally, you know what I'm saying? It's such a weird way to try to figure out what the definition is, because there are a lot of athletes that are literally world class, that have gotten medals, that have done amazing things, but they don't have shoe contracts. So it's do you not count them?
Right.
It's do you want to make it based off a certain ranking? You have to be, I guess, top 100, either you can have a contract or you have to be top 100 or something like that. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. So what would be your definition? Because I've had this conversation. I'm what do we define it as?
Yeah, it's wild. It's a crazy combo.
It is. But I think we keep having them. I think that's part of it. We continue to talk about it because people don't know.
Yeah. That's an important thing. I want to pivot real quick. I don't know if I asked you down in the mix zone, but Michael Johnson's league. Curious on your thoughts on it. Is it something you'd be? The laugh is.
Please, you guys are hitting. This is hard hitting journalism.
Is it? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I asked Michael after he made the team, and he kind of went off. Not that he went off,
off in a good way or a bad way.
It was a mixed way. He
was girl, I don't know what's going on.
It was a mix. I was so confused, and he was laughing. He was smiling. Then he was huh?
He don't know what's going on, bro.
And I'm do you want to run? I don't know, but I mean, what do you think about the league?
I think it's cool. I'm intrigued. And like I said, I've kind of been in and out of social media for the last few weeks, so I haven't seen all the full details of it. But I'm interested to see how it plays out and how long lasting it is. If this will be a 1-year thing and we're going to kind of see what it looks like, or if this is going to be something that really takes the track world by storm. I think there's certainly potential. I am a little confused on some details. Justice for field events also, of course.
Talk about it.
But yeah, I feel I need a mock-up. I need to see an example of what it would look like.
Okay, so wait, so what's some of your questions? Because I might have some answers.
Okay, so
I don't know.
It's 48 athletes that are going to be signed under this Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Correct? Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be 48 challengers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are these the 48 signed athletes, I'm assuming, are getting a base pay?
Yeah,
they have a contract or whatever.
A yearly compensation.
And so these challengers, what's my incentive? If I beat you, do I get your contract?
They get in. Well, I don't think you get to take nobody's contract, but I think you might be able to be added on.
You could maybe race into it or something like that.
Yeah.
But you do get appearance fees.
Okay.
And the top 10 or the top 8 get paid. It's $100K for number 1, and all the way down.
And I think 10K gets, not 10K
for number 8.
Yeah.
So all the way from 100 to 10.
I'm
so
intrigued.
you'll get 10K plus the appearance fee.
Okay. I mean, if you're paying and it's a nice hotel, you're pretty me and I'm running.
Wait, don't say she's going to get 10K. She's going to get 100K.
What?
Yeah, what the heck?
No.
No, okay. I'm interested. Like I said, I would love to see how it plays out and what it all looks like for real. Now we can talk, but let's see the action.
Now for you, because you're a 400 girl, you got two options. You could either do the 2-4 or the 4 and the 4 hurdles. So like, what would you dabble in? Because you gotta run too. So either you running the hurdles or you running that.
Have you ever done hurdles?
I hurdled. Wait, when you're in AAU, you're allowed to start hurdling when you're like 11.
AAU?
Wait. No. That's just my origin story. That's my origin story. So I started then. And I wasn't good. I was certainly jumping. I was just sprinting in between. But then I hurdled a little bit in high school, like at practice, because my coach's plan was, I think in Florida it's 300 hurdles unless they changed it. But like my plan was to double on the 4 and the 300 hurdles. So I would do hurdles at practice. I just never actually entered in the meet. So I know how to hurdle. And I've been begging Coach Hayes, I'm like, during the dead year, I'm like, let's get into these 400 hurdles. Like, let's get into these hurdles.
Hold on.
It's like you and Quincy do like a switch, because Quincy was 400 hurdles and now you're 4. Yeah. And now, hold up.
Quincy,
but I want to do the 8. I would love to hop.
That means you got to do the 8 and the 15, girl.
I can't do that. I can't do
know,
that.
Man.
A lot of 400 runners.
So 100K not going to make you jump on the line, Bookie?
It won't, unfortunately. It won't. But I think realistically, I do the 2-4. Because I PR'd in the 2 before I PR'd in the 4. So I'll go try my luck in that.
Things were said.
I was going to say, a lot of 400 runners don't ever say they want to touch the 8.
I do. I think
but you see it a lot in college, though. Like, I mean, you take Juliet and Roisin, like both of them are on that 4x4, and like they be sliding. So
yeah, I just feel like the 800 is the hardest event in track and field. I said it.
4 hurdles.
I think the 800 is the hardest. Hurdles. It's a 2-lap sprint. After the way they are running it now, it's a 2-lap sprint, and I love a challenge. I'm not saying I would win or anything, but I think I'd be competitive, and I think it'd be fun to just dabble in it, not like do it at trials, just like.
It's too late now. You done wrote your name in the book.
No.
Actually, in the next couple days, you will be. We're actually gonna do a new heat just for you. That's it.
Solo time trial.
Well, all right. Hypothetically, what can you run in the 800? If you were to run right now, you're in like peak 400 form. What could you run in the 800 right now?
Okay, I don't know how to pace. I need help.
No, like assume that you assume that you're strategically smart.
Okay. Stop. Stop. Don't make fun of me. Like,
nobody laughed. You the one that laughed first. Like, what are you talking about?
Like 203.
203.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
For sure.
For like my first time.
I feel like you could go sub 2. Right now, I feel like you can go sub 2.
Like if you like we said, like you assuming that like you have the race strategy.
Okay, then like do it one.
Okay. No, say it with your chest.
201.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. So rest of the trials, you're gonna be chilling. Obviously, you're gonna be watching the rest of your teammates. But what are some other stuff you're gonna be keeping an eye out for? Are you watching like any other events? You got your eye out for anyone else?
I mean, of course, Rye. Cheering for him, rooting for
Very
him.
fast guy.
Yeah, Isaiah Jewett, of course, in the 800.
Other fast
and
guy.
I'm just looking forward to seeing the women's 4 hurdles. I have someone in college, Jasmine Jones. She goes to SC, NCAA champ. So I'm rooting for her. I'm excited to see what she does. Excited to see how she elevates with like the pros and whatnot. So I think that's one of the events I'm most excited for.
Ooh, you think Jasmine could? I mean, she was close to 52 seconds. You think she could like hit another big PB?
I think so. I think she's someone who I see constantly elevates around like who she's competing with, and she's gonna have great competition this week. So yeah, I think she's gonna rise to the challenge. I'm excited.
Nice. That should be good. Hey, well, Kendall Ellis, U.S. champion, Olympian. We're going. I mean, you got a gold last time. You got a bronze last time. I mean, you're probably looking to double that. Get like double gold, maybe triple gold. Who knows? But Kendall Ellis, you're here. Really appreciate you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kendall. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be back, y'all.